Alright, this is weird. This is weird. Look at this. It is a ceramic chicken, a souvenir, an old school souvenir of Knott's Berry Farm, as you can see right there, with a dish for rings, and in the back, a toothbrush holding zone right in the rump there. But look at that face. That is a face even Mrs. Knott couldn't love. Hello everybody, we're back for another beard report. The vlogs of during the shutdown and the stay at home. We're currently hopefully in the middle, or towards the end, who knows, of the stay-at-home thing. We have a pandemic and a situation happening over there. That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here for a little distraction from that. I normally don't ever vlog, and I normally don't do it from my house in the old-school traditional sitting at your desk or in your bed vlogging room style of vlog with the thing. In fact, my house is usually... I'm not usually home. I'm not usually in my house, so I don't really have a setup for doing this. It's all kind of like clumped into the corner of my desk where I normally do a lot of editing and where I just have a bunch of random stuff piled up that you can't see. The whole rest of my house is all piled up with boxes because we've opened up that new merch store and everybody went. And now we're trying to get everything to everybody as fast as possible. That's what Allie's doing in the other room. She's taping up the last of the boxes, so everything else is going out tomorrow, or as you see this, probably today, probably right now. It's on its way. So if you got something, it's on its way. Look at this. This is the strangest thing ever. As you guys know, I recently completed a 100th anniversary Knott's Berry Farm documentary. And so I want to show you a couple of strange things. Knott's Berry Farm had a lot of unique items for souvenirs. Theme parks these days have very few... Well, I would say they have a lot of souvenirs, but they're all sort of the same categories of souvenirs. Knott's Berry Farm back in the day was definitely one of those places that has strange and unusual items. They could get ceramic things from anywhere. Look at this pig, for example. Look at this thing. He's got a little hole there. You can put something in him, or maybe a cork. You can keep your valuables. And I think it's made in Taiwan, way back in the day. And a little painted ceramic pig. And what they've done is they've just put, I know it's kind of hard to see, they've just put a little Knott's Berry Farm sort of pin magnet thing, a little button there with a little Knott's stuff on it, and made it into a Knott's Berry Farm souvenir. Strange. And of course I got one of these. What was up with the spoons? Everybody's grandma, well, at least my grandma, my great-grandparents, they all had these strange little souvenir spoons. They'd have a little wooden case, and then you'd have a whole bunch of little spoons hanging in it with just tiny little, I mean, not so tiny, I don't know if you can even see that there. Such a tiny little itsy bitsy little logo on there. I mean, what would you use them for? What? So tiny. Well, maybe for boysenberry jelly or jam. Anyway, I am back with the beard report. One more thing I'll show you really quick. Ah, look at that. I have a bunch of weird little dishes like this, all just random stuff over the years from Knott's Berry Farm. But you can see they had different ceramic shops there and different little souvenir shops. They sold all kinds of weird stuff. They used to have these little metal donkeys. I don't have one. I don't think I have one. These little metal burros. A lot of Western places sold them, and it would be stamped Knott's Berry Farm on the side. But you could get the same ones at the Grand Canyon. It'd just be stamped Grand Canyon at all these different places. They had all kinds of wacky, weird, pre-war and post-war strange souvenirs at Knott's Berry Farm, and I love just coming across them. So a bunch of these were sent to me, like here. Just it looks like a little frying pan, and I'm assuming you just hang this on a nail up in your house, right? Got a nice little little art here. I don't know if you can see. This is kind of difficult to see. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Knott's Berry Farm. You got the old covered wagon show reference there, Ghost Town, a whole bunch of things like that. Just extremely interesting, the kind of strange, weird, unusual things they had out there. They even had a ceramic, and I know I'm touching this, don't worry, a ceramic Sad-Eyed Joe. It's one of the rarest things at Knott's. I've never seen one for sale for less than $500, but a ceramic Sad-Eyed Joe with little actual chains on his wrist, little shackles. Oh, I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Not for $500 though. Not me anyway. Not you either. I'm assuming, right? Not us. But anyway, I'm back with the Beard Report, and I'm happy to report. Is it still here? Yes, it's still here. That's why I have this on. It's not dirty. It's been sanitized for my protection. But there it is with all its glory, horribleness. Oh yeah, see, this was all a joke for Instagram. Sorry, there's cat hair floating around everywhere because I have 2 cats in the house, and like I said, we've been doing so much stuff. Not a lot of vacuuming, but I think our vacuum's kind of broken. Not a lot of vacuum repair shops open right now, but we'll deal with that later when the time comes. This all started out as a joke on Instagram. Wouldn't it be funny if I didn't shave until the parks reopen? Well, that looks like it's going to be a while, so I can almost guarantee you I'm going to shave this before the parks open, so this may become the face report rapidly, a lot faster than I was expecting it to. Like I said, the new online store opened. We had some sick patches. This one's going on here today. We got the brand new pins, the 2020 pins, which took forever to show up. Finally here. I finally got one. Yeah, which is good because I got that thing going. You ever get like a Levi's jacket or a denim jacket and like one of the hoochies is coming up on the goodie, and it's just right here, and you're like, hey, everybody, and you just can't be cool, and if you put it up, it's like, that's this one. So I'm trying to weigh it down. I'm trying to shape it, get it into shape, and mostly, that's what I've been doing. I've been working really hard on some new time travel episodes. When we opened this, I didn't expect the crazy rush of all the stuff, so we did sell out of the sweet new hats. We did sell out of the sticker packs, and we did sell out of a whole bunch of things which we only had a little bit of here, and more stuff was already on the way. So the hats are coming back this week. The stickers, either this week or the next week. Everything's all humbucked everywhere, and I know the sticker printers were getting their vinyl that they were printing the stickers on from another country, and then there's all the stuff with the countries being shut down. So I know it's on the way. I don't know exactly when. So if you don't see what you want, it will be back. Just keep checking, except for the pins. The pins will be no more once they are gone, but luckily there's still a few of these bad boys left right now. How are you? I hope you're keeping sane. I hope you're keeping happy, healthy. Hope you are mostly keeping indoors. It's funny. One of the few things we're allowed to do in Orange County anyway, we are still allowed to go outside without masks. I think individual cities are now starting to put the whole mask thing into place, especially when you're going indoors to stores and stuff like that. Of course, we've been using the masks on and off anyways, just when you get near people. A lot of times, I'm not going to get within breathing distance of somebody anyways, but a lot of times it's more about politeness, like they can see that you're taking it seriously, you can see that, that kind of thing. So we've been doing that. But one of the things that we were able to do, the few things, is to go take a walk. So of course, I hit 3 birds with one stone. I had to drop some stuff off somewhere. And took my long walk around my old neighborhood over there, around the block of Disneyland. So if you didn't see that, I did a walking tour of the current state of the Disneyland Resort. Spoiler alert, it's all locked up. There's nobody around. You can hear a lot of birds chirping, and that's pretty much it. And it's funny, people's reactions. Most people were like, oh, awesome, since you had the ability to do that, you did it, you shared it with us, thank you, appreciate it. And I'm like, thank you, that's why I did it. There's some people who are like, bleep you bleep and bleep, how dare you bleep and bleep. So, we'll see. Some people, I'm not very popular with some people right now, so I've been staying inside too most of the time. But we're still allowed to take walks as long as you're properly socially distanced, which of course I wasn't within 25 feet of another person, and I had a mask on at all times. It's funny, somebody commented later, I was one of the guys that jogged past you. I was like, but you went way over to read a sign. I was like, no, I was just stepping way out of your way to keep the whole social distance thing going. So anyway, people have been asking me a lot of questions. I have some of them here. One of them is just, what are you guys doing to stay sane? And mostly I've just been working, and obviously Allie has been shipping packages all week long to everybody, which is good because obviously we spent a lot of money on the merchandise being made before all this stuff happened, and it took forever to get here, so we've been paying for it and paying the interest on it, and it's finally here, and it's getting shipped to people who want it, so hopefully it'll just at least break even and that crushing debt will be off, so that's good. But it's been keeping her busy, taping stuff, sticking stuff, sending stuff, doing all the things, and so wonderful things like the sweet patch and the sweet new hats and the stickers are actually reaching people already, which is really great, and the pins and stuff, so that's one of the main things we've been doing. My kid has been coming back and forth. The law in California, the guidelines are if you have a split custody thing like I do, the kids must follow the court mandated schedule. So barring anyone actually starting to show symptoms or getting sick of something, he's got to go back and forth. That's just the law. So even if we could agree on some kind of it just doesn't matter. You have to do what the court mandates. So he's been coming back and forth. So that's been kind of cool because it switches the dynamic a little bit and then it switches it again. So we go from being totally alone to the next, whatever, when he comes, we're doing Legos and we're doing puzzles and we're doing stuff like that. So it's been kind of nice switching back and forth and having the chance to, we just built like a bunch of Lego stuff today. And we're working through all the puzzles and board games and playing Uno and stuff like that he's got in the cabinet. But it's funny because for my 13-year-old, this is all a super fun party because he gets to do school from home, which does not take him very long. And all his friends are doing school from home. And so there's a lot more time once he's done with homework. You can't really say, well, now you only get those 30 minutes of screen time because there's not a lot of outside time. So I guess you can play video games with your friends. But it's kind of weird because they keep getting to socialize the way that they're used to socializing. Hey, what's up, man? They got their headsets and the whole thing. So that's been kind of cool. So that's what he's been doing to keep playing with his friends. It's almost like, sweet, nothing's going on. And we've been going for walks, small walks, and of course that big walk, once a week, a big walk, masks. We got nitrile gloves in case we need the gloves. We got the whole thing. But mostly I'm trying to not think about that so much when I'm home, trying to think about the things I can control. So we have a lot of cleaning, which we have not done, which we'll probably do this week because we're shipping out all the packages. And so I'm huddled here in my little bunker in the corner where I normally do the Knottcast, the sort of Patreon only. I don't know if you can see. It's a little random land Patreon podcast thing. And so I'm huddled into my little corner here. And where I've been editing the time travel videos on my laptop here. And that's sort of basically been what's going on. But I wanted to show you guys some weird Knott's Berry Farm stuff I have. A lot of research goes into the stuff that I do. It's not just, I'll just Google it and talk about some stuff because I think people will click on it. Everything I do is something that I'm really excited about, passionate about, I'm actually going to go do, and so a lot of research went into stuff like the Knott's Berry Farm thing. Here's an example, the souvenir edition, Ghost Town News. Knott's Berry Farm had its own printing press and they published their own magazines. Even during World War II, when there was a shortage of paper, they took the Ghost Town News, and I don't know if I have it right here somewhere. I do. They took the Ghost Town News, and they had a lot of stuff like the story of Knott's Berry Farm. These are pretty common. Cool thing about collecting Knott's Berry Farm stuff is sometimes they're very expensive. It just depends, but sometimes you can snag this stuff for super cheap, So they print their own story a lot. They told their own story a lot. Nice propaganda for Knott's. Later they got fancy colors. Look at this. Fancy colored printers and ooh la la. You can learn a lot about Knott's Berry Farm by their advertising materials, which went from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and onwards. I think I have one in here. During World War II, when there was a paper shortage, and they obviously couldn't be printing full-on magazines and stuff, Knott's Berry Farm started printing this. A newspaper version of the Ghost Town News that was much, much thinner, see? So you'll notice in that documentary in the 1940s at Knott's Berry Farm, it was Ghost Town News, 10 cents. And then by the time you get to, it's very brittle, by the time you get to, what is this, 1940, I don't know, I believe this one is during the war, so it was taken down to 5 cents. Where's the date? I know that's the date-ish on here somewhere. But anyway, there you go. Volume 2, number 1, the Ghost Town News, only 5 cents, actually printed on the farm on old printing presses. It's so brittle, I really don't want to rip it. There are copies out there, but they are getting more and more rare. Ooh, okay, I got it opened up. So you can see it's just one sheet and folded up. But somewhere I think on here it references the paper shortage, and that's why they've got such a small thing here. They had all kinds of rationing during World War II. Coffee shortages, sugar shortages. So there's little cards that they would put on the table at the chicken dinner restaurant that said, due to rationing, we're not going to refill your coffee. If you want to refill, it's 5 cents, but do your patriotic duty and try not to take the coffee. All coffee must be saved for our brave boys and stuff. And then, of course, one of the other things that they printed on the farm were the menus at the chicken dinner restaurant, which looked like this, which there was all kinds of different versions. I should have a few of them here. They changed over the years. So some of them are black and white inside. Some of them are color. These all have the same cover, but they would change the building over the years as well on the bottom as the building changed. Also, here's an old black and white one. you can see there. The chicken dinner restaurant was not just about the chicken dinner restaurant itself and the menu here, which for $2, look at that. Look at all the stuff you got for $2. $2. Insane. They're still using the same recipes today. Supposedly they are back to using Mrs. Knott's original recipes, but you'd get southern fried chicken, cherry rhubarb sauce, salad, mashed potatoes and gravy, vegetables, hot biscuits, homemade berry jam, pickles, homemade pickles it says. They homemade the pickles? Coffee, tea, milk, or boysenberry pie, vanilla ice cream, or boysenberry sherbet. Kids' dinners were only $1 if they were under 12, so how about that? Anyway, they would also print all kinds of stuff about their ghost town, about Virginia's gift shop, about their little attractions, and so over the years, as they would add more stuff, it's interesting because that stuff would change. Like here, they added the little chapel by the lake, so they've added that to their brochure and their little pamphlet, and so collecting a lot of this old Knott's Berry Farm material was part of the process. Oh, there you go. Here's an older one. You can see there the older Berry Market building, and then just for comparison here, I will fly up one of the later 1950s menus. See, look at that. And so they've got all kinds of their attractions here. Red's Leatherworks still back then, and it's just interesting going through and seeing. Sometimes it only changes slightly. Here's the steakhouse menu. So they have their steakhouse in Ghost Town, and there you go. There's their dinner menu. Choice New York cut steak, $4.95, served with soup, green salad, French or bleh, cheese dressing, hot rolls, boysenberry jam. Wow. So I've got a lot of stuff like that over the years that I've had sitting here that I thought I would share some of it with you. I've got about a gigazillion Knott's Berry Farm postcards. See? Oh, you saw this one in the little documentary here. This was from the church. And if you shine a black light on it, which I just so happen to have for hotel rooms and such, my friend sent that to me. You go to a lot of old hotels on Route 66 and stuff. You sure you don't want a blacklight flashlight? Spoiler alert, you need luminol for this to really work. So I first shined it around and felt so safe. Now I know you need some stuff to tell if there's really... Anyway, look at that. Boom! Ah! Can you see? He glows in the dark, and then he stares at you. Whoa! But I've got a lot of other old Knott's Berry Farm postcards, and I'm always looking for more. So if you find old Knott's Berry Farm postcards, especially black and white ones, and you think, that's neat, I don't know what to do with it. Oh, send them my way. Oh, send them my way. I also have a few from Calico Ghost Town, stuff like that. One of these, a very rare book here. Look at that. The Knott's Berry Farm Burrow in Ghost Town, a little children's book. It was actually drawn by a guy who did a lot of work for Hanna-Barbera, Peter Alvarado, and look at that. The Knott's Berry Farm, the little burrow of Knott's Berry Farm. It's sort of out of print for a reason. Something that in its own time was not weird at all, but maybe in our time would be a little weird. Look at the art. It's fantastic. And it's really cool seeing Knott's Berry Farm in storybook form. And I would really hope that they could take this and republish this. I think it would be really cool if Knott's Berry Farm found a way to sort of rewrite the part of it that's, let's say, no longer suitable and put this out again, because this is... I've only seen one of these, and it's the one in my hand. It's a very rare thing. Basically, the little burrow becomes afraid of some concrete. They were actually concrete, but in here it says they're wood. Some of the wooden characters here, which were Native Americans, and that's part of the plot. Oh no! But then he eventually stops some train robbers and saves the day, and it's a whole key thing. It's not so much what happens as the way they phrase it. He's afraid he's going to be scalped. In the 50s, when that was all over every movie and TV show, whoever wrote this, which was not the Knotts family, by the way, so an outside person who went, hey, I got an idea, which, you know, that wouldn't be a big deal. Now, it's not something we want to teach the kids. It's like, oh, if you see someone different than you, they might scalp you or attack you. No, not a good idea. So, they'd have to do a little bit of a rewrite, but that's kind of a cool souvenir back there. And the funny part is, as with everything else the Knotts did, Walter Knott was a little bit of a genius for self-promotion, and he got everybody else in on the game. So it's come and see us down here in Buena Park. No mention of Disneyland, so I have no idea when this was published. Let's see, 1955. So when they were planning this, they were not expecting Disneyland to be down the street. They're probably pretty worried. They're going to open up what right down the street? No. They also printed their own books about Calico Ghost Town when they purchased it. So there's a very good old school Knott's Berry Farm printed book about Calico California out there, which none of the stuff at Knott's is named after Calico, although Walter Knott did know about Calico, and then ended up owning it. So you would think Calico Saloon, Calico Mine Ride, all that stuff is named after Calico, California. It is not. They're all named after the Calico Saloon, which is named for the wallpaper inside, which was made of rare, old school, red calico fabric. Just a weird little, just a little historical fact there, because a lot of people go to Knott's Berry Farm like, did you know this is named after a real place, Calico? And then, yeah, kind of not. Then there's other things like this. Ha 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 ha. Can you see this? Probably not very well. This is a ticket for the Calico Mine Ride back in the day. This is a child's ticket. This is 35 cents. And the interesting thing about these things is that, I'll show you actually. It's got sort of more of a story than we're used to the Calico Mine Ride having now. So you can see down here in the center, it says, when you walk up the mountain path to board the Calico Mine Train, you're following the footsteps of Pete Sluicebox McGee and his burro Mildred, who stumbled upon Calico Mountain in 1882. So that's down right here. And then when you flip your ticket over, assuming, of course, you would buy this at the ticket booth at the front of the ride, and then you'd be standing there with it, waiting to board the train after they punched a little hole in it here. On the back is an even longer story. Digging deep into the mountain, Pete followed a rich ore vein that wandered through blah, 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 and describes all this stuff. Talks about it being Pete's glory hole, and these are Pete's old mine tunnels, and they're low and narrow, so watch your head and all that stuff. But there you go. Pete Sluicebox McGee and his burro Mildred. Who knew that the Calico Mine Ride had a character that it was all supposedly based around? You don't hear anything about that today. So finding little stuff like this, you think, it's just an old ticket, kind of a neat thing to have on the wall or something for 2 seconds, and you throw it. But it might have some cool little historical information that you never knew about before. See, here's the story right there. Right on the back, you can see someone had glued it into a scrapbook or something like that. But you see all the little artwork and stuff, and that must have got you so pumped up for the ride itself. This is the kids' ticket. I think I have an adult one around here somewhere. I don't know exactly where. So you can see the kid. I mean, for an adult reading that, it's like, oh, kind of neat. It gives a little information, an idea of what to expect inside or something like that. But for a kid, I mean, you know, when you're 8, 9, 10, and you read something like that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to see old Sluicebox in here. Or Mildred, like you're all into the story, and it sets your imagination on fire. Hey, look at this. This is a little something interesting here. This is a tiny little, used to put these next to the phones everywhere, you know, if you had notepads. And I'm talking about old phone, not cell phone. When people would call, you have to leave a little note, you know, for mom and dad. Aunt Mildred called! And that's an old one that says Knott's Berry Place on there. You can see, right, see that? Knott's Berry Place. And what this picture is that rock garden behind the berry market now, which is one of the first things they ever built. So this is old enough that that's what they were advertising. Check it out, we got a rock garden. That rocks, gotta say. Here I've got an old map, and you could actually mail this to Grandma, you know, kind of a postcard type of thing. Look at that, Knott's Berry Farm and Ghost Town, and 42 intriguing shops. And on here, the back side of the map, they'd have just this epic little assortment of different attractions at Knott's Berry Farm. Hold on, let me see if I can get this open. Ah, yes, there we go. And then on the other side, the old souvenir map right there. Check that out, that's pretty cool. Now, unlike Disneyland stuff, Knott's Berry Farm stuff isn't very valuable. So, I mean, you know, the total amount of money, even on a good day on eBay, that would end up being like $30 worth of stuff. I mean, it's not, you know, these aren't riches, so people throw it away all the time. They'll see their family's old travel brochures or something, pick up the Disneyland stuff, and then just chuck the Knotts in the trash. Well, if you ever come across it and you think, yeah, I don't really need this, I'll take it. Just putting that out there. Anyway, I have many questions here. I'm going to try and get through a bunch of them as fast as I can. This has already taken longer than I thought it would. As you can see, I got surrounded by a bunch of stuff that's packed into this corner. Maybe I'll show you some in a minute. Let's just take a few. The first ones I glance at, I'm not going to answer any questions about when are you going to this, or you have any plans on going here, because right now, none of us are going nowhere. Now, eventually, and hopefully sooner rather than later, they'll start to unlock pieces of the economy. Some of us will be able to go back to work. We'll be able to travel a little bit. We'll be able to go see things again, you know, properly distanced and all that stuff. But just as a sanity-saving measure, because I had so many travel plans and things I wanted to do this year, which are now going to be pushed back and pushed back, I'm just trying not to think of where I'm going to go, and just thinking of ways of, okay, what can I do and control now in the here and now? It's a quest for positivity thing, right? I don't want to think about the stuff I can't control, like I can't go to Shanghai right now, right? Probably, as far as I know. But I can stay here and work on this project, so I'm going to think about that stuff. Have I ever been to Bakersfield? Yes, I have been to Bakersfield, California, and Bakersfield, California is not known as a massive tourist destination, but yes, I've been to Bakersfield many, many times. I used to play shows there with my band all the time. It's close to 3 or 4 hours away. So we'd go to Bakersfield, and actually the first ticket I ever got in my life, the first traffic ticket ever, was going to Bakersfield. I was pulling a trailer with my minivan, a Ford Aerostar, and going up through the passes down to the Grapevine, right, like the big mountain passes between LA and the Central Valley to get to Bakersfield, California, and full of mohawks and brightly colored hair people in the van. And I had figured out, oh, cool, if I just set the cruise control, I'm 16, so I'm just learning how to drive. I'm like, oh, cruise control works. I just figured out how the cruise control works. So I set the cruise control in 72, which was still speeding with the trailer, because what I didn't know is you're only allowed to go 55 with the trailer, right? So I was going 72, I had it on cruise control, and I was watching how it would slow down and speed up, right? Like, whoa, it'll speed up uphill and it'll slow down downhill. No work involved for me. This is sweet. I see this red light in my rearview mirror. That's kind of weird. And I see it still, and I see it still. And what the heck is that? Because in my mind from TV, when a policeman pulls you over, it's right, and you get the red and blue and their sirens. Well, he was trying to pull me over for a long time. There was just that red light. And then finally, all the lights came on, and I heard, like, oh, pull over to the side, or I'll get you. So I pull over to the side, and the officer immediately, I got my hands on 10 and 2, the whole thing. You were going 100 miles an hour. Like, oh, that's impossible, Are you copping an attitude with me? He sees the whole van full of mohawks and stuff. He was not a happy camper. So he wrote down that I was going... He's like, oh, I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to say that it was less than 100. I was on cruise control. I'm telling you, the whole van of people was like, wow, oh, look how that works. We're all kids, so we're like all impressed with the cruise control. This is high tech in 1999 or whenever this was. And the guy's like, well, I'm going to only write down that you were going 98, so it's not in excess of 100 or whatever. And so I had to make a court appearance and drive all the way up to Magic Mountain area with my dad when I just got my license. This is not the closest my dad and I ever were as when I was a teenager. As most teenagers, the butting heads. It's all embarrassing. I'm in the car with my dad. We go all the way up to the court. I'm telling him, and everybody else told him, we swear Justin was not going 100 miles an hour. He was going 72 in the thing, which I still could have got a ticket for, and I would have gladly paid that ticket. Anyway, we get to the court, and the judge is like, if I let you walk out of here, you're making excuses. I let a girl go out of here. She was doing 80 miles an hour, and I gave her a slap on the wrist, and the next week she crashed, and everybody died, and the whole thing. And so, basically, I got my license taken away for 30 days. Luckily, he handed it to my dad. It didn't go in, the record. He said, if he's caught driving within 30 days, other than to go to the grocery store to do errands for you, he loses his license. So I got yelled at for going 72 because the police officer didn't like our mohawks. Because we were going to play a show in Bakersfield. But the show in Bakersfield was supposed to be big. We're supposed to get paid. Tons of people were supposed to be there. And then we showed up. And it turned out that some big punk rock band was playing at Jerry's Pizza, which I think might still be there in Bakersfield. And the place we were at was virtually abandoned, and no one was there. And we played for the other bands, which was fine. And then we went home. Oh, and we accidentally shot out the window of our trailer with a BB gun when we were messing around in the parking lot. So that was an expensive day for me. Bakersfield. So yes, I've been to Bakersfield many happy times. What was the last punk show I went to besides the Misfits? I went to the Misfits with Danzig. That was cool. But otherwise, the last punk show that I've ever been to, not counting somebody's party in the backyard or something like that, was the Way Out West Festival 2013, Tucson, Arizona, which was the last show my band ever played. Although I never refer to it as the last show, I always think of the last show I played in Orange County at home as the last show. It was a big show in Observatory. I think I might have gone and seen Adam when he was filling in on bass for Guttermouth. But I'm going to go ahead and say Way Out West Fest in Tucson, Arizona, 2013. It was a weird festival. Bad Cop, and it's a bunch of bands like that. What's the coolest Route 66 attraction I've ever visited? All of them. Maybe the Blue Whale. Definitely Buck Adam. Where's Buck Adam? I got the little statue of him somewhere here. It's pretty nice because my name is on that brick down there. But I think the coolest attraction on Route 66 are all the little small towns, getting to a little small hotel, mom and pop business, being able to support people like that. And a lot of them, when I come back, are always like, you promoted our hotel, and a lot of people came and stayed here because of you, so we really want to give you the room for free this time. And I'm always like, no, let me pay. I will pay. People... people should, you know what I mean? So I just want to help out those small businesses. So finding the weird little mom and pop stores is always great. I mean, even the bigger attractions on Route 66 are technically really small operations. They're really struggling now. So I cannot wait to get back out there and go to all these places. But my favorite is showing up to some weird town that doesn't have a lot of attractions, not a lot of the big put it on the magazine cover attractions, and then walking around, meeting people, going to little mom and pop places and buying something weird, like maybe this chicken with a toothpick holder rump and no face. You know, stuff like that. So there you go. When I eventually shave the beard, are you going to do funny designs like maybe an Old West style? When I shave this, when I shave this, I will probably leave the mustache, at least for some kind of documentation. So you will see documentation. And we were watching Gone with the Wind. I don't think Allie had ever seen it, or she had never seen it when she was old enough to really remember all of it. So we were watching Gone with the Wind, and now she wants me to try the Clark Gable, you know, the little Walt Disney stash. So we'll see what happens. There may be some patterns coming in as it goes down. Someone asked if I'm going to get a booth at Midsummer Scream. Again, I don't think there's going to be any Midsummer Scream, although they have not canceled it yet. I haven't been contacted about booths. I know some other friends have. I'm sure we could get one. I would like to get one. I was looking forward to Midsummer Scream. But at this point, I think when they start to reopen stuff, it's going to be... I don't know that big crowds and conventions are going to be able to open up like that. I mean, Midsummer Scream... and what stinks is this was the first year it was like the whole weekend, right? I think it's 3 or 4 days finally instead of just the 2 days. And it was so much... It was going to be epic. So I'm holding out hope that we'll be able to go to Midsummer Scream. If we do, I think I will get another booth. But I'm not going to hold my breath. So I'll cross my fingers, but I don't think I'm going to hold my breath that whole time because I'm not going to be able to breathe. What are we doing to stay sane? I'm going crazy. Not going outside. But to stay sane, I'm realizing, like I said, try not to think of the things I can't control, the things that I'd rather be doing than I'm not doing, and instead focusing on the stuff that I can do. So I have a whole bunch of time travel episodes to go. Here's the beard report, because people kept asking me, what are you guys doing? A lot of people are concerned for us, right? You invite us into your living room through this flow here. Maybe we should have masks on since we're so close. But, and I appreciate that, and you care a lot about us, and we really do appreciate all that. And so people are like, what's going on? So that's why the beard report is here. So these are the things I can control. Doing research and working on projects for you guys. That's what I've been doing. And trying to fix the whole online store thing, which took a week of like, how does this work? And all that kind of stuff. And then you'd be surprised how many other people, though, are like, hey, come out and hang out with me. Like, no, we're supposed to be doing the thing. I'll go outside, but I'm not going to go near you, you know. So I'm trying to stay at home as much as possible without offending. People are getting their feelings hurt. Why won't you come hang out with me? Just come over. What's the big deal? I don't have it. You don't have it. You don't know that. So I'm trying to sticking to the thing. But then I've got Allie here, of course, and she's bored being stuck inside. And we've got London here, back and forth. And of course, he's bored. And there's, you know, I've actually been busier than any other time. I feel like I've been even busier because I'm constantly interacting with people, and there's a lot coming across my desk, and I've got all this editing to do, and I just spent 4 days sorting through old film with a projector and sending stuff off to the place that does the thing, and so I've been really hands full. That has helped me. I know a lot of people don't have a lot of projects to work on. We have a very small space to live in, so it looks nice with a wide-angle lens, and when we film in one room, we tend to push everything into the other room, so it looks like there's all this space in there. But as anyone who's been to my home can attest, like on New Year's Eve or something, when there are more than 4 people in this house, especially, you're like, I can't. And it's not really big enough. There's no space in the bedrooms and anywhere to like really hang out. You're like, well, I used to have a house where we had all the parties, right? Some people go in the kitchen, a few people go to the bedroom. We don't have a house like that. It's like anywhere you are, except the living room. And once there's like 4 people in there, I mean, maximum 6, you're going, I can't breathe. It's hot. You can feel the body heat. It's not very big. So it's been tough to be in that small space, but staying busy has helped. So I know a lot of people are in the same boat as me. You don't have a front porch, you don't have a backyard, and that is making you go nuts. And especially in my neighborhood, there's a lot of people walking around and going places, and so it's not, you can't really stand out there for 5. You couldn't put a lawn chair outside, you know, you couldn't. So that's been kind of tough, but otherwise we've been really busy. That's helped with the whole not get outside thing. And I know a lot of people, like I said, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say, are in the same boat as me, and I just find that literally anything that you can make a goal, like with Lennon and the Legos. All right, we're going to take this weird Anakin Skywalker ship, and we're going to make it out of Legos. It's been sitting there as a birthday present to him like 4 years ago. We're finally making it. All right, we're going to try and play this board. We just make weird objectives and goals for ourselves and then try to hit them. So mine is a lot of film stuff. For Allie, it's shipping all this merchandise. Lennon's got video games that he has never defeated that have been sitting there. Someone gave him, I don't know, just an example, Lego Star Wars, which is one of the actual examples because he beat that years ago. But something like that, if he had an old video game present, he'll go, okay, I'm going to beat this whole entire game. That's my goal for today. So we've just been trying to do that. So anything you can do, reorganizing the cabinets, stuff like that. When I'm taking a break from this, that's what I'm doing with them. It's like, okay, reorganizing the cabinets time. Let's see how we can make this fun. So, I mean, it's like, there's a little bit of cabin fever going on, but trying to stay motivated to work on projects and then working on research for things that we're going to do later. And that's been going good. There was something else. I wanted to show you guys something else. There's some epic merchandise coming. Oh, this right here. Look at this. This is my certificate. What's it called? My official honorary citizen of Disneyland certificate for the 14th of June. I'm guessing 1990. Oh, wait. Nope, it says 1988 on the certificate. So sometime in the 80s I got that. I was made an honorary citizen of my town there. And then what I just moved was the Empire Strikes Back Frisbee. The old Burger King Frisbee, which is warped strangely over the years, but I think it was probably still flight worthy that Allie got me as a present over a couple years ago. Pretty smooth, I like that. Then I've got Bob the Joker's Goon here. I have a lot of 1989 Batman stuff. This past year was the 30th anniversary, and I got a lot of the stuff together to do my tribute to the 30th anniversary of Batman. And then I can't remember what, but one of the times at the back, there's some kind of problem that happened that just totally highbucked my whole plan of when I was going to film it. When the movie came out, which was in summer, and then in fall was the anniversary of the VHS release, which I have a whole bunch of the VHS copies around here somewhere. I've got action figures and things. That's the one thing where I'm like, Star Wars pre 1990 Star Wars stuff and 1989 Batman stuff, dude. That's my jam right there. And I've got Igor over here from Son of Frankenstein. Probably the best Frankenstein movie. The old Universal Monster movies. I got all kinds of weird stuff around here I'll show you more of next time. It's usually piled up in such a chaotic, haphazard fashion. I'm not normally in here, right? I come home to recharge batteries, quite literally sometimes, camera batteries and things, and then I split. I don't spend a lot of time in the house. It's a very kind of claustrophobic, enclosed sort of space at the best of times. So we don't spend a lot of time inside. So this has been an interesting thing, sort of putting all my stuff in one corner and starting to stick it to the walls just so I have something to look at other than plain walls, and there's a bunch of stuff piled around here. But this is going a lot longer than I meant it to, and so I don't want to keep you too long, so I'm going to try and answer as many more questions as I can in rapid fashion. Midsummer Screen Booth, what are we doing to stay sane? That's the last one I was going. Would I ever consider coming to New Jersey? I've been to New Jersey many times, and I would consider coming back there again. Where am I going to go first when this is over? Probably to my mom's house to give her a hug. I need a new hat, dude. I got you covered on that. They're coming back. They're coming back. So the hats are at the embroiderers. The embroidery guy, who's just down in Santa Ana, apparently got in some kind of car accident. I think he's okay. But I think it was bad enough that he's got to work through a couple of issues for a day or two, and then it'll be back to normal. But I wish him well. I hope he's okay. I've been assured that he is okay, but I think he's going to get back to work on Monday. So the hats are coming. They're here. They're just sort of, that kind of thing. A lot of questions about Disneyland. And maybe I'll answer some of these, top 5 rides and all that kind of stuff in the next Beard update or in the next podcast thing. But Disneyland right now, let's just skip over those. Are you planning to do this or that? I'm going to skip over those. Have you ever read this book, Finding Everett Roos? Or Roos, I think it was Roos, right? Finding Everett Roos by David Roberts. David Roberts is a heck of an author. He wrote some pretty cool books about finding old Anasazi or ancestral Pueblo and Native American ruins. I think he's a writer for National Geographic or something like that. I have not read this book, but this guy wandered out into the desert and disappeared, and I've really wanted to read this book for a long time, and so I might finally have the chance. I read constantly. That's another thing people always ask me. How do you know all this stuff, and how do you do all this stuff? I read constantly. It's part of my job in a way, but I've always done that. I've always been super like this, knowing the information, all that stuff. I will read books about a subject for 2 or 3 years, and then I'll go and start to film it, because I want it to be something that is really coming from the heart and passionate, which leads into another series of questions where some people have said, how do you let this still be fun? Because what I notice is a lot of people do YouTube the same way people used to do bands. So I'll use the bands as an analogy so nobody takes offense. A lot of people love music. They would love, like, just using the punk rock scene as an example, they love punk bands, and they go to their local punk show, which is in some warehouse in their town, and they see these guys that, you know, they're not much younger than, or they go to the same high school maybe or something, and they're doing it. They're up there with their Squire Strat and playing, and I could do it too. And they love going to shows. They love music. They're big fans of music, so they join a band. And they get up there, and maybe they're even good at being in a band. It's just not real, though. Their passion wasn't for making the music. Their brain wasn't, I want to make music. That was never the thing. They just wanted to be in a band because that's what they were fans of, so the next logical step is, well, then I'll do the thing I'm a fan of. And it's sometimes a huge mistake. You find that these are usually the most bitter people. They're upset, nobody likes my band. And you find that these are the people who are just the most jaded, kind of negative about stuff. I don't know. I find that it's like that with YouTube a lot too. People love watching YouTube videos, or they love documentaries at a certain time. YouTube is just like saying, I like TV. To me, I don't like when people are like, I'm really into YouTube, I'm a YouTuber. What does that mean? It just means you're making a video and putting it on YouTube. It could be anything. It could be changing the kid's diaper. Well, hopefully not that. That's weird. I don't know why that jumped in my head. But when I had a baby, you know, I'd like film videos, and I still have him. He's just not a baby anymore, don't get me wrong. But I film stuff and send it to my mom, right? Oh, look, I uploaded this video to YouTube so you can see him walking around talking and playing like he's on the phone and stuff when he's 1 and 2 and stuff like that. That's a YouTube video. So you can't really say, I'm into YouTube. But people get into stuff on YouTube and they think, I got a camera, I got a phone. Fair enough. I'll make some YouTube videos. And then what I notice is, like, I've got a channel and I got a thing. They're always announcing the name of the channel before there is they get really into it because they're fans of that type of stuff, and then they burn out really quickly, or it never picks up traction. And it's because they weren't passionate about filmmaking or learning anything about filmmaking or framing or composition or the content that they went after. They go, I want to be a YouTuber because I like watching YouTubers. I see these YouTubers are filming this, so I will also go film that thing. And it just sort of shows. I think that's my biggest advice. How can I start doing this? Find out what it is that makes you different than everybody else. What is the thing that you're interested in that nobody else is interested in? For me, with the theme parks, it's easy to say there's thousands of people filming them. I get that, but at the time when I started, there really weren't. 1, 2, even at the time that I started, which is pretty, recently, I feel like 7, whatever, how many ever years ago, everyone was like, an adult that likes Disneyland? Lame. I know there's still people like that somewhere, but for the most part, it's become so trendy to like theme parks and be into this stuff and the history and stuff. It's like a lot of the old-timey people who are even more old school than me, guys that are in their 60s and 70s who've been collecting a lot of this stuff and writing the theme park history are like totally blown away with, why are so many people interested in this now, right? It's totally changed. So, just doing what you see other people doing because you like what they do, you're going to burn out. Eventually, you're going to burn out. Find the thing that you're into that everybody thinks you, what? And do that. Do that thing that you're really interested in, that you have a passion for, or spend a lot of time researching the thing that you think you're interested in, and then do something about that. And maybe it won't even be a video, so, because there's a whole bunch of questions. You're like, what should I film, or what if I'm interested in this? YouTube might not even be a thing 10 years from now. Who knows? A lot of people, their passion is video games, so they've been doing video games. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So just my advice is, I don't know what to do to be successful at anything. Everything that happens to me is by mistake. But everything I try and do is sincere. So that's how I don't burn out, because everything that I do is something I'm sincerely passionate about or interested in, and I do not do things that I don't want to do. I just don't. I don't go and do things because I think people will click on them. I title my videos very badly, as all my professional YouTube friends tell me, like, dude, you suck at titles. Come on, you could do this and this, and millions of people will click on it. I don't care if millions of people click on it. I make the best thing that I can make that I actually really care about, not just in a passing way, but that I have a real interest in. And so there you go. So my advice is to not do that, if that makes any sense. So don't go and do something just because you see other people are like, just because I'm a fan of ska bands doesn't mean I should be in a ska band, right? I'm not a huge fan of ska bands, but just for an example, you know? Like, if all of a sudden I became really into rockabilly, it doesn't mean I should whip out my guitars and be like, I'm in a rockabilly band now, because probably after a year or two of being in a bad rockabilly band, I'm going to go, There's no reason you can't try new stuff. There's no reason why you shouldn't take a stab at it. But I'm just saying, that is the secret, I think, of longevity of things. And to go for 6, 7 years, however long, 5, 6, 7 years doing different types of content is to really be passionate about it. And to not be afraid to change what you're doing when your interests change, because that's the other problem. People are like, I'm going to film an update of the park by my house once a week. It's the park by my house vlog. And then, you know, after a while, they're like, man, I'd really like to go to the park on the other side of town. And, you know, so just don't be afraid to mix it up and to change things. I was afraid for years, because I was the punk rock band guy, to give up and to quit. I did a whole vlog about this one time about, I can't remember what it was called. Someone will remember in the comments, I'm sure. Or actually, there will be no comments. Go to the Facebook group, sometimesmob.com, for comments on vlogs. I did a whole thing, the definition of insanity, maybe, because it's repeating yourself over and over and expecting different results. Anyway, it's okay to quit something and try. Everybody's always like, hold on to your dreams, don't give up. But sometimes some dreams don't work, and you're holding yourself back from finding a new dream and following a new passion, because you're thinking, I'm this guy, though. If I give that up, what am I? If I'm a vlogger, if I give it up, what will I be? You gotta open yourself up to new, amazing things. I had a friend who was making Disneyland history videos, and he was like, this isn't working out. So then he was trying to do other kinds of things, and he kept changing it until eventually he found something he was both passionate about and also went really far. Now he's very successful. He does a YouTube show full time, and he's a very talented filmmaker. His name is Mick B. You might have heard of him. That's not his real name, but it's close enough. He'll know. Let's see. What does London think? My kids won't let me shave my beard now. Oh, about the beard. I don't know if he likes it. He looks at me like, I just keep seeing my dad. I keep walking past mirrors and being like, whoa, who the heck is that? It is uncomfortable. And I'm not really putting beard oil in it yet. I see a lot of comments about beard oil and stuff. It's just very patchy. I'm not good at a beard. This is a failure. This is the cataloging, the documenting of a failure beard here. What's a place I'd love to do a video on but can't film there? Ooh, lots of places. Just a lot of places. A lot of places. If you could live anywhere else in the world other than California, where would it be? In the world, let's just narrow it to the United States, because I don't even know. In the world, I would probably live in Hannibal, Missouri. I wanted to buy a house in Hannibal, Missouri for years. They're not expensive, and I've always thought I would just really love to buy a house there and open up a Mark Twain themed bed and breakfast. But then a guy who does Mark Twain impersonations bought the very house that I always wished I could buy, and is now working on doing breakfast with Mark Twain bed and breakfast. So that was cool. Or I always wanted to move to Virginia City, not move there, but own one of those big old houses in Virginia City, Nevada, and build a haunted bed and breakfast there. That was an idea I had like 10 years ago. Then I met some guy who was like, I need you to sign this non-disclosure agreement because I'm working on a project. And it ended up being a haunted, a similar type of thing where I was like, cool, now I signed away my idea because I signed this before I heard your idea. Anyway, so that was one idea that I had. But I would love to live in Hannibal, Missouri. I like small towns. I lived in Texas for 6 months once. The weather was really bad and bad things were going down. And so I moved back home really quick. That's the only time I've ever lived more than 30 miles from Disneyland. I lived in Long Beach for 2 years. But otherwise, I've been in Orange County the entire time, right around Disneyland. And like, it's just like entropy, right? Like, or is that the right word? It's like, it's gravity. It's just pull. In case I orbit it, sometimes I fling out and then I back in. It's just home. So I can't get away. Will we ever get to see you and Adam do the filming locations for Back to the Future 3? Barring death, accidental injury, or other acts of God? I guarantee it. Any plans to come back to? All that kind of stuff. What equipment do you bring with you in the parks? A camera and some batteries. Sometimes a microphone, which I thought I had right here and don't, so I can't show you. Does the air quality feel better than it does with hardly any cars on the road? My mouth is getting so dry. No? Yes, it's been raining in Southern California. Whenever it rains, our air gets very clean. And we actually have the cleanest air in California before this than we've had in decades or something like that. So we've been doing a good job overall with air quality the last 10 years in the United States, and especially California anyways. And so I haven't noticed a huge difference. No, I have noticed a big noise difference. The noise of the freeways and the roads is way cut down, and there's a lot more bird noises and stuff, which I like. So that's kind of nice. I live like, you know, I've always lived in apartments and grew up in apartments. Only once did I ever live in a house that we rented, and that was nice. I would love to someday just have a backyard and be outside more. So I haven't been outside much, so I really couldn't tell you. If you're going to drive Route 66 stop to finish, one of the best places to stop and see, watch the series I did. And you got to decide for yourself. It is very hard to give that advice. A lot of people ask, what's the thing I have to do at Disneyland? What's the thing I have to do here? It's impossible to say because your interests will be different than what I'm interested in. For example, not a big parade guy, super not a big show guy. Magic Kingdom has all those shows in front of the castle, right? The dancing, and look, we're talking on cell phone. And sometimes it's fun to watch. I'm like a 5-minute show person. I can watch the 5 minutes of it, and then the next time I loop back around, I'll watch, oh, okay, it's almost to that part, and I'll watch the next 5 minutes. That's how I like to take in those type of things. Or like the Dapper Dans, for example, on Main Street. I can watch like, 2.5 minutes of that, and then I'm on to the next thing. I've always been like that. Parades, with very few exceptions, the Halloween parades and Main Street Electrical Parade. Once I've seen it once, I'm like, meh, I never need to watch this again. So I have very different interests than other people. Then there's other people who are like, I'm going to camp and watch Paint the Night every night. Well, bless you and bless your heart. I could never do that. I would go crazy. I got to move around. I got to move it and shake it. And a lot of times I just like to walk around, enjoy the scenery. And I would say 70% of the time I'm in any kind of theme park, I don't get in any line for any ride, period. Not meaning that somehow I have to skip it. I mean, I just don't ride any rides. I don't know. I'm very different from other people. So Route 66 is the same thing. I would say if you watch the videos, I show a lot of different places you could stop. I show a lot of different places you can go. And that whole Route 66 coast, or well, it's not coast to coast, but beginning to end and back again is on this YouTube channel. And there is actually a playlist for that. One of the few things I ever made playlists for. The reason I don't have playlists, which is another question, is because, or too many playlists and they're not organized and they're all old, is because by the time there were enough videos, hundreds of videos, where I was like, okay, I really probably should go back and try to organize these into some kind of playlists. Somehow it was connected where it was giving notifications to all the subscribers. Oh, change this play, and then any new video I posted would get lost. Does that make sense? So anytime if I move 80 videos around into playlists in a day, and I have 1,000 videos, so we're talking hundreds of videos I'd have to be moving around, which would take me days to do, but it would be worth it if this didn't happen. It's going to notify everybody. So people are going to be like, oh, look, he's doing stuff with videos. And then it's going to annoy everybody. And then they're going to turn off their notifications. And then no more notifications. So then when a new video comes, they're like, how come you haven't uploaded any new videos? So I've just gone to heck with it. One day, there will be a playlist apocalypse where I organize everything. And I'll probably need some help with that. And we'll just try and do it all in one day where I got 3 people logged in on 3 computers. And let's do this. I will see what happens. If I wasn't doing YouTube, what do you think you'd be doing? Sleeping in a ditch somewhere. I have no idea. I was going to go back to school to be a psychologist or a counselor, therapist. I don't know that that's the best thing I could be doing. I always wanted to be a history teacher, but the parts of school you have to get through to get to the parts to do what you... I don't really like the whole... School and I are not very compatible. I have a more than 4.0 GPA in college, which I had to drop out of. But I did very poorly in high school, and I do not do well with things I am not interested in, right, to get the degree to do the thing that I am interested in. And I don't think I'm not very effective with systems and grading. I would be a terrible teacher. So, when it came to all the practical stuff. So, I don't know. This sort of combines all the things in my life. I was training for this job my entire life without even knowing it. And so, I like what I'm doing now. And I don't know, I have no clue, nor do I want to think about it. I am happy to be where I am. I am grateful and thankful every day to be doing what I am doing. And I hope to never stop, even if, YouTube goes away and I have to do it somewhere else or some other way else. I hope to always be doing this and putting smiles on people's faces and bringing a little dose of positivity. Some people don't get it, they don't understand it, and then other people are immensely grateful and maybe overly thankful. Thank you for saving my life with the videos. And I just try to take all that in stride. I don't listen to negative comments. I don't listen to super praising comments. You're perfect, you're beautiful, I love you. Okay. I just try to stay focused do the best job I can, and if people like it, then I'm very happy and very gratified. And if they don't like it, at least I know I did my best and put out the best thing I could out there. Let's see. Favorite movie soundtrack and score? I don't know. Dude, the Star Wars ones are all good. Even the bad movies. Great soundtracks. Hook. E.T. Anything by John Williams. Fantastic. Ooh, Gone with the Wind though. Oh, everything. I don't know. I'm a sucker for music. Soundtrack music like that. Yeah, big orchestral soundtrack music really gets me right in the feels. I can get all choked up from soundtrack music watching a movie that doesn't make me cry. E.T. doesn't make me cry. Nothing about the story makes me my eyes sweaty with respect. Not that I don't like that movie. Of course I like that movie. But it doesn't I don't know, it doesn't hit me in the feels. But the music can, right? If I hear the music somewhere, I'm like, yes. I don't know what it is with that. Same thing with Gone with the Wind. Rant. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a dangle about your dangle. Does Allie like my beard? Yes, she does. That's why it's still here. It's such a failure. It's just such a patchy thing. It looks way worse on camera than it does in real life, though. It looks a little more full in real life. It's a little better with actual looking at it, or looking at it in the mirror anyways. I think that's it. I think that's all I can get to. There's a bazillion more questions here, all in the Sometimes Mob. Which is our Facebook group where there are a lot of rules. I don't run it. We have moderators who run it. There are a lot of rules, and a lot of people go in there for the first time. They're like, yeah, people are mad because they try to argue with each other. That's one of the rules. No arguing. You can say, nah, I don't really agree with that. I see it more like this, without being mean to someone. So it's a totally different, weird space for people to meet, talk about the show, talk about things like this, and comment on stuff like this without fighting, arguing. There's a separate group for theme park stuff, so without going into all the Disney stuff and flooding it with like, what's your favorite ride and popcorn? But yeah, so go there, because I always turn the comment stuff on vlogs, because why? Why not? If you really want to talk about it, head over there where this thread was, where all the questions were, and I'll try to answer some of the rest of them in the thread to make up for lost time, since this turned out to be incredibly much longer than I thought it would be. And next time, if we do another beard report from in here, I will show you some of my 1989 Batman collections. This isn't 89, this is 91. Well, 1990 to 1991, the Kenner Dark Knight collection, when they took over from Toy Biz, which produced its very first line of action figures. Here's the Joker right here. The Toy Biz DC Superheroes line. This is actually technically not Toy. I'm very into this stuff, so I know a lot of nerdy information. Here's something you haven't seen though before, I bet. This is a rare bootleg Batman action figure from, of all places, Peru. This is a Peruvian 1989 Batman figure. He does have a little cape here. He has a holster for his bat gun. So Batman in Peru is packing heat. You got to watch out. Not only can he kick you in the face with his go-go boots, he's got a little holster. And I love the little logo on his gizmo there. Sick. This is the sickest Batman thing ever. I love 1989 specifically. That era Batman stuff from other countries. And I got Hank Hill here. He sells propane and propane accessories. Peggy, I don't know when they made these weird like little Fox. I gotta hide or else it'll try to focus on my face. Fox Animation Domination figures. But I got Hank and Dale up there. That was Allie getting that for me for my birthday, because that is my favorite TV show of all time. Freaking King of the Hill, dude. There's the propane right there. Just look at that little Strickland propane. Anyway, I think that's about it. I probably worn you out. You probably have a lot of other things to go see and do, and this ended up being so long. I've dominated your time for far too long. You've been very generous with your time with me, and I want to thank you. I'm going to get back to work on some of the time travel episodes. They take so long to make that there may be another beard episode before those, because I'm going to work on a bunch of these, I hope, at once, and then deliver them like that. So I'm going to get back to work. That's my main thing. I'm getting back to work, and before I did that, I just wanted to check in with everybody again. So you didn't think I fell off the earth. There will be more Knottcast coming for the Patreon folks, and I will be back with a more beard update type stuff. I normally don't vlog. I normally keep the vlogging just for Patreon folks and folks that are really interested all the time, because I know a lot of you are here because you see all these adventures, where you see travel videos, where you see theme park stuff, and you're going, I don't want to sit and watch you in your bedroom talking about your feelings. Fair enough. I wouldn't want to watch me feelings either. or something like that. So, of course, when we're out and free, you won't see beard updates anymore. But for now, I will keep coming back and updating you on the beard with the beard report until the beard is gone and I give you the face report. But from all of us here, which is mostly just me because somebody's playing video games and somebody's packing up the very last of the merchandise, which will be there soon, I will see you later in Random Land. And this, my friends, is my favorite thing. I actually need to go put this on right now and eat for the first time today because I was doing a lot of boredom eating. I've been doing a lot of boredom eating over here. And so I didn't eat anything today. Not on purpose, so I better go figure that out. I love you all. I hope you're staying safe and sane and happy and all that kind of stuff. And that's it for right now in the moment. But we'll be back with more beard reports. Goodbye. What am I talking about? Goodbye. You've watched this entire thing. You've done your duty. You can go home and sleep well. And you're a daisy. If you do. No, you're no daisy. You're no daisy at all. Poor soul. He was just too high strung.